Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be tackling another puzzle today by the boy that people are calling the Sudoku Mozart. This puzzle is by Can Erturan from Turkey. And Can, if you followed the channel for the last few weeks, you will know Can is a 14-year-old who recently came second in the World Sudoku Championship in the under 18 category. So he did that at the age of 14, which is, it's just stupendously clever. We've done a couple of puzzles, the pile of 15 and the pile of 20s, which are sort of Jenga-like killer Sudoku constructions in recent weeks, which have been very popular. And this puzzle has come into us as well. I think this is an older puzzle, so maybe Chan set this at the age of 13. But the testers had a look at this and said it is absolutely wonderful again. Very simple rule set, very elegant looking grid. And I'll read you the rules. It's called X Square Whispers. And X Square Whispers. I'm just trying to understand that. And anyway, I'll read you the rules in just a moment or two. A few things to mention first, including something that warms the cockles of my heart. So let's start with some birthdays. I'm going to start with Joseph. Now, Joseph, you've turned 2 today, if I'm not mistaken. And I know this because your godmother, Amy, wrote to us and tells us that you've been watching Cracking the Cryptic videos since you were born, basically. So Joseph, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy today's edition, and most importantly, I hope you have some chocolate cake today, as it's your birthday. There should be no reason not to. Next, Kelsey, from your partner. It could be Sarah, it could be Sarah. I'm never sure about the pronunciation of this version of Sarah. But anyway, Kelsey, I hope that you have a brilliant day, replete with cake as well. And now Naomi, from your son Stuart. Now, those of us who watch Cracking the Cryptic will know your son Stuart better as the peddling pianist, who has constructed a couple of brilliant puzzles recently. And I believe Stuart and his dad solve puzzles together over Zoom. And often Naomi comes into shot where she does a slow wave. So I've been instructed to do a slow wave to celebrate your birthday today, Naomi. I hope you have a good one. And finally, William. Oh, I'm late on this one, William. Your birthday, I know you turned 19 on Boxing Day. I'm sorry. And your Polish friend, Raphael, wrote to us and said you'd appreciate a shout out. So, William, I hope you had a great day. I hope you continue to have good days all the way into 2023. Next, I released a bonus video today where I attempt today's viciously difficult Times crossword. So if you enjoy cryptic crosswords, especially if they're difficult, have a crack at that. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen right there. Over on Patreon, we've got the Sudoku event of the year ongoing, which is the Phistomefel Sudoku Hunt, Phistomefel's first ever Sudoku hunt. And that is available to all our patrons as a big thank you for your support over the last years, and what a hunt it is. And I have to say, I've been bowled over by how many of you have managed to solve it all. I mean, well, Mark and I tested the puzzles, and I will tell you, I had the most difficult time with Ancient Wall. It took a long time and a lot of thinking, so that so many of you have blazed through it is really impressive to me. And oh yeah, and on the 1st of January 2023, we've got a very special Sudoku hunt as well, Jay Dyer's Sudoku hunt, and that is going to be an absolute, well, that's going to be a great event as well. And finally, I want to say congratulations to some of you who solved all of the cryptic scriptures of the Secret Snake Society. So well done to Erich Peterson, Ian Washington, Rowan Gould, Martin Chargot, Nadine and Tobias, my number 1 fans in Germany, apparently. It's nice to have number 1 fans anywhere. I never thought I'd ever have any fans, frankly, when I was working in a bank. Ivan Tonchev, Hedda Barrett Jew, Jacob, I think it's Belanga, could be Belanja, Paula Chilvers and Andrew Bartle, Dylan Broder, who is a member of the Student Sudoku Club at Yeshiva University. Gosh, I wish they'd had student Sudoku clubs when I was at uni. Good grief. They had nothing as cool as that, let me tell you. Beyond Book, who I always want to see the name of Beyond Book. I want to say Beyond Borg, but it's not Beyond Borg. It's Beyond Book, which is a more, I think, redolent Sudoku name. Brighton Benson, Christy Klingert, James Steinthal, Pesha Berry, and Tobias and Daniel, all of you sent in the correct entries. And finally, I want to say hearty congratulations to Bernard and Kirsten, because they got married, and what's more, they sent me some pictures that they had of their wedding, which they've taken in, I think it's Austria. Absolutely stunning scenery. And you may remember the story. This warms the cockles of my heart, because I actually did the proposal on Kirsten's behalf to Bernard, and he accepted, and now you can see they're expecting a child, and absolutely beautiful look. And Bernard even had some wedding photos taken in his Cracking the Cryptic hoodie, which is just awesome. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much, Bernard and Kirsten, for sending these in to us and letting us share them with the viewers. You can you can see I'm made up about them, and to play any part in this at all was a great thrill for me, and thank you very much for letting me be part of it. Anyway, let's get on with X Square Whispers now, by Kane Puzzles, by Chan, and we will see what the Sudoku Mozart has in store for us. Very simple rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Neighbouring digits on a green line have a difference of at least 5. So let's stop there and check we understand how green lines work. So if this digit was, an 8, then this digit would have to be at least 5 different from 8. So it could be 3. It could be 2, it could be 1, it could be no other things. Because if you try 4, for example, you'll find 8 and 4 are only 4 apart, and that breaks the rules. So that's how green lines work. Cells separated by an X contain digits summing to 10. So those two squares have to be summing to 10. Those two have to sum to 10. Not all possible X's are shown, so it's perfectly possible for those two cells to sum to 10. They don't have to have an X if they sum to 10. It's just we know that the ones that do have an X definitely do sum to 10. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I get 2 given digits today, which is very kind. And I suspect we might have to think about 5s perhaps. Let's think about 5 straight away. Because I can see that these funny 2x2s of X's, if you think about, can we put 5 on an X? The answer is clearly, in fact 5's going to be a very limited digit anyway, isn't it? Because the German Whispers lines can't have 5s on them. So let's deal with that. That's a little bit of a secret. If you try and put 5 on a green line, you will find there is a problem, because the next digit is impossible, because it has to be at least 5 different from 5, and if we go downwards we get to 0, which is not a valid Sudoku digit, and if we go upwards we get to 10, also not a valid Sudoku digit. So 5s can't go on green lines, but also 5s can't go on 10 dominoes, because we'd have to put 2 5s on to make them add up to 10, and that's going to break the rules of Sudoku. So 5 in boxes 1, 2, 4 and 5 is confined, or 5s are confined, well, not that one, although that sort of breaks the beautiful nature of my purple cross. 5s are confined to those cells. Now that makes me wonder, I'm wondering about these cells, whether they could be 5s or not. I think not. Let me just have a look at that. If we try and put a 5 close to the centre of the cross, aren't we going to run into trouble? Yeah, we are. So yeah, this is something I was suspicious about, because it's a similar thing to if you find you've got to put digits in the perimeter of a Sudoku. You can often run into a similar problem when you try and put digits in the corner, because digits get trapped. But anyway, if we try and put a 5 here, you can see the 5 in purple in box 4 has to be there, the 5 in purple in box 5 has to be here, and the 5 in purple in box 2 is now absolutely impossible, because this 5 rules out the bottom 3 cells, and the 5 that's going to be in this domino rules out the cells in column 4, so there would be nowhere to place a 5, and that logic must be symmetrical, because you can see this shape is completely symmetrical around that logic. So those cells are not part of the 5 structure. Now, what then is this doing? So 5s in these boxes have to be in these 2x2s. Hang on a minute, let me think about this. So actually, so I think that means that 5 in this box is a little bit restricted as well, because this essentially, it forms a sort of quasi X-wing pattern, doesn't it? Because we know that these two rows have to contain 5s. Actually, maybe, I think it's still, yeah, it's still true. Neither of those squares can be a 5, can they? Because if I do put 5s in these squares, then I feel like I'm going to end up with 2 5s in these squares. Because if I put, yeah, so yeah, it's a bit complicated, because obviously the 5 in box 1 is in one of those 4 cells. But I think I'm right in saying, because of the way these 5 dominoes trade with each other, you can only put 1 5 in those 4 cells across the box. Because if you were to try and put 2 5s into this 2x2, let's just prove that can't work. Yeah, you can see what that does is it forces a problem in column 4, because this 5 is going to put a 5 in this domino, and this 5 is going to put a 5 in that domino, and that's going to break the puzzle as well. So it's a slightly strange, I suppose, corollary of the fact we've got rid of 5s from here, is that you also now can't put 2 5s in there. And that means that in columns 3 and 4 there is 1 5 in here and 1 5 in there, so there are no 5s in any of those cells, and we know that because of the facetious question we can ask about columns 3 and 4, which is how many 5s are we expecting in column 3? Well, the answer is 1. How many 5s are we expecting in column 4? Well, the answer is 1. So there are 2 5s in these 2 columns, and yet there's 1 5 in that 2x2 and 1 5 in that 2x2, so we can't have any more 5s down here, because that would be a third 5 at least in 2 columns of the grid. And now, because we can't put 5 on this X domino either, there is a 5 down there. There's no 5 here by the same logic. There's no 5 here, so there is a 5 there. Ah, okay. There's a 5 in one of these 3 cells, not on the whisper, because we've said we can't put 5 on there. 5 in one of those 5 cells in box 6. 5 in one of those 5 cells in box 9, and 5 in one of those 5 cells in box 3. Okay, I'm now thinking I've totally misled everybody by going on this trail of 5s, and I'm not getting anything for the price of my brain cells expended. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Sorry, that's completely and utterly done nothing. Right, let's try the squiggle. Let's try the squiggly line. I can see something interesting about the squiggly line, which is related to the second secret of German whispers. Now, the first secret was that you couldn't put 5 on them. The second secret is that they oscillate polarity. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's think about the nature of this cell. Now, we can define this cell as either being a number that's below 5 or above 5. We don't know which it is, but it's one of those two things because it's not 5 itself. Let's imagine just for a moment it's lower than 5. I'll make that blue. What's the nature of this digit if this is lower than 5? Well, because this digit has to be at least 5 away, this digit will be the other side of 5, so this would be a high digit. But then the moment this becomes a high digit, what's this digit? Well, again, that's going to have to flip down below 5 again. So what we find along these whisper lines is that they oscillate. So if this digit is low, that digit will be low, and that digit will be low. So in fact, those 3 digits are the same. I'm trying to decide what colour to make them. Oh, that's a particularly terrible choice. I'll make those red, and I'll make these blue. I think I can just about see the blue against that background of green there. Or maybe I should make this a slightly less... Yeah, I find that easier to see. Okay, so what we're saying is these are all the same polarity, these are all the same polarity. And you may be saying, well, what does that do, Simon? And I'm just hoping my brain is about to announce that to my mouth. So if if those were high polarity, they wouldn't have 8 in them, and they would have to be 6, 7, 9, and the 6 would have to go here, because there are the sort of corollaries of the secrets. If you try and put 6 in the middle of a German whisper line, the problem with that is that there's only one natural counterpart to a 6 on a whispers line, because we're looking for digits 5 away, and that's the digit 1. So you'd end up having to do this, which will most certainly break the rules of Sudoku. So if red is high, that's 6, that's 1, this is a 7-9 pair. But if red is low, then I don't know what that means. These are all the same. Ah, I see. Right, okay. Here is an interesting point. Oh, this is weird. All right, we're going to get into colouring madness here. Ooh, I don't know how I'm going to do this, actually. Right, the thing I'm noticing is the X's are in... Well, these X dominoes now are all different. There are 4 ways of making 10 in dominoes in Sudoku. You can have 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7 and 4, 6. Now, how could 2 of these dominoes contain the same combination? Let's make this 3, 7, and let's make this 3, 7. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, obviously, this one can't be 3, 7 now. Why can't this one, for example, be 3, 7? Well, you can see why not if you think about Sudoku. Because these digits in row 3 now have to... Where are we going to put the 3s and 7s? And the answer is in the red digits, which we know are all of the same polarity, i.e. they're all either low or they're all high. So you can't put 3 and 7 in there because they are on opposite sides of 5 and wouldn't have the same polarity. So what that's saying is that these 4 X dominoes are the 4 different versions of X dominoes that exist in Sudoku. But by exactly the same logic, look, those 4 digits can't have a repeated X domino, because that would cause exactly the same problem there in row 4. So in fact... what I'm worried about is, do I have to colour these X dominoes 4 different colours and then try and transpose those down here, which is going to be impossible, because although I could say this domino is not the same as this domino, how would I know it's not the same as that domino or the same as that domino? I don't think there is a way of doing that. Hang on a minute, let me just think about this. Have we got a simple way of deducing what on earth is going on here? I'm also now wondering about these dominoes in boxes 7 and 8, because it feels like they're in a different orientations. They are horizontal dominoes. So whatever goes in that domino, I'll use the garish green for this, cannot appear in any of those 8 dominoes above it. Oh, good grief, right. Okay, that is actually far more interesting than I'd realised. Wow. Okay. Okay, so there is something... There's definitely something going on. I can't quite get to the end of it in my brain. So I will do it. Let's do it slowly together. Right, and I'm not going to use garish green because I am actually going to need to use this colour to show you what's going on. So if this is blue, this version of X is blue, we know that none of those can be a blue X domino, because imagine this was 3, 7. Well, obviously if that's 3, 7, it's ruling both of the digits out from this cell. So whatever blue is does not exist in those cells. And yet we know that 2 lots of blue must exist in the 2x2s, because remember, there's 1 lot of blue in rows 1 and 2, and there's 1 lot of blue in rows 5 and 6, because these are all different flavours of X dominoes. So this X domino must exist in rows 1 and 2. It just can't exist in those ones. So it exists up here and it exists there. And therefore by Sudoku, where does it go in column 3? And the answer is not in any of those cells and not there by Sudoku. So that is a blue domino. But that, I think, that logic applies absolutely identically to this domino, which I will make yellow, and yellow I can see the green background against, because we know that yellow must exist in this foursome of dominoes, and it can't be there by Sudoku, so it must be here, and it must be here by exactly the same logic. Therefore, in column 4 it must be there, and it can't be here. So that is a yellow domino. Now, what, if anything, is that doing? Now we've got the whispers line here somehow interfering. I want to say those 2 digits are the same. Is that must be true? That's a simple. Yeah. Okay. This is starting to get into my head now. Right. Let's imagine this is a 3-7 domino again. So if this is 3-7, you can see from the polarity of the whisper, this digit and that digit have the same polarity, because we must, if this is high, that's going to be low, that's going to be high again. So this couldn't be 3. We know it's a 3 or a 7, this digit, but it can't be the other one. It's got to be the same as that one in order to retain its polarity status. So in fact, what we're now learning is that that digit and that digit are the same. Now I'm running out of colours here, so I'm going to switch to letters, I think. Those 2 digits are the same. Do I do I think I do central pencil marking there to show that. Those 2 digits are the same, which means those 2 digits are the same. But we must therefore be able to expand that logic to this cell. This cell, this one here, and this one have the same polarity, so they must be the same size within their X domino. So those 2 digits are the same, and those 2 digits are the same. Bad. I've spelt out bad. Not the Michael Jackson album, but the Sudoku Can Erturan album. Right, what does this mean? I have not got a clue. It means A and D are on this line by Sudoku. C is up here off the line, and B is down there, well, potentially off the line, depending on whether it can live in the corner. Okay. I mean, what on earth does that mean? I mean, it's absolutely startling that this somehow solves from here, isn't it? I mean, how are we going to ever... It must be the whisper, the actual size of these digits somehow must be tricky on the whispers lines. Do I know how... I know A and C are different polarity, don't I? So, okay, so B and C are the same polarity. Is that true? I think that's true. Because if let's just go to my 3-7 analogy again. If this is 3, oh, not C, I want to make it 3. Oh, I've got to switch to numbers. If that's 3 and that's 7, then that's 7 and that's 3. By polarity, this is high, so D is low. So D's friend is A. So D and A have the same polarity. C and B have the same polarity. And those polarities are opposite to one another. Right. Right. That's it. Okay, I understand. So what we just worked out using that little example is that A and D have the same polarity. So that can't be an A or a D, because then the other one of A and D will be next to it on the line, and we'll have two digits of the same polarity on the line together. So A and D must be in those cells. This is so clever. This is a 14-year-old who is setting this. I mean, if this had been set by a 50-year-old with 40 years of experience in advanced puzzle making, you'd be like very impressed. It's just natural brilliance, this. Now we're cooking with gas. Now we are cooking with gas, because the 4 digits of this polarity, this is hard. This is getting even harder now to notate. But the 4 digits of, if this is high or low polarity, we know it's the same. C and B have the same polarity, and they have the opposite polarity to A and D. So the 4 digits that are of BC's polarity are those 4 digits. They have those digits there. I don't know what to do in terms of colouring. Maybe I use the garish colour. Just for a moment, I'm going to use the garish colour. These digits here have the same polarity. And that's almost really lovely. But not quite. It's not quite good enough, I don't think. So the natural question, of course, is once you know that these squares are all low or all high, is to think about the tricky digit, so the 4 and the 6. I mean, that clearly cannot be a 4 or a 6. And again, that's just for the old reason. If you put 4 in the middle of the line, you've got to surround it by 9 on both sides, because it only has one natural friend. That could be 4 or 6. B, I think, could be 4 or 6. Oh, no. Oh, hang on. No, I've misunderstood something here. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, my goodness me. It's absolutely brilliant. I hadn't appreciated this at all. But, right. That's 4 or 6. Ah, this is sick. Absolutely beautiful. Right. I was thinking B could be 4 or 6. Because I was looking at it as being off the whisper here. But the point is not that it's off the whisper. The point is it's a friend of A's. So if you make B 4 or 6, A becomes 4 or 6 because it's across from an X domino. And then A is in the middle of the line over here. And you can't put a 4 or 6 in the middle of a whisper line if the 2 digits either side see each other by Sudoku. Because if you put 4 there, that's double 9. If you put 6 here, that's double 1. It won't work. Now, I'm presuming that works the same with C, but I haven't checked C. Yeah, of course it does, yeah. Because if C was 4 or 6, there's no problem with C being 4 or 6 here, but there is a problem with D being 4 or 6, which it would be across this X domino because D is in the middle of the line. So that's the 4 or the 6. We don't know which yet, but we do know that this is an extreme whispers digit, which means this digit is 1 or 9. And there the trail runs smack into a wall. How? Okay. Oh, I was loving that for a moment, but it doesn't seem to do anything. That's absolutely extraordinary. That felt like such a beautiful chain of logic. It's quite incredible that does nothing. But I think I don't know. I'm struggling to see how I'm meant to use that. I have a feeling I'm getting shouted at by future viewers now. Is that meant to do or trigger an idea in my brain? And if so, why? I don't know. Sorry, I'm so sorry about this. I'm not getting this at all. This being 4 or 6, it feels like that is the revelation rather than this being 1 or 9. The problem with 1 or 9 in the middle of a whispers line is it does nothing. Well, although, hang on. Okay, so A or D is 1 or 9. So either, if A is 1 or 9, B is... So either this is a 1-9 pair or this is a 1-9 pair. I don't see how I know which of those is true. This being 4 or 6. Does what? Does it do anything to the x's? These can't be 4 or 6. Can I put 4 or 6 into these? Hang on, I'm getting confused now. I don't think I can do that. If I put... I know that 2 of these 8 dominoes are 4s and 6s, because there must be a 4 or a 6 in those 4, and there must be a 4 or a 6 in those 4. Now, if there is not a 4 or a 6 in these, then I'd have to put 4 and 6 in this and 4 and 6 in this, which would mean there would be a 4 and a 6 down here. But isn't that exactly what we said about how we arrived at D and C? D and C were the repeated dominoes over here because D and C couldn't appear anywhere over here. So that would require there to be a DC pair here and a 4-6 pair, because we know that D and C are not 4 and 6, and that's impossible because that cell would have to be a Schrödinger cell. It would have to simultaneously be 4 and 6, and it cannot be that. Right, so this is important because now that's proved that the dominoes of 4s and 6s that exist within these 8 dominoes here, one of them, I think it is only one, is over here, is in these 4 dominoes. Because if there were 4 and 6, well, there can't be a 4 or 6 here because of this 4. So there definitely isn't a 4 or 6 there. So there is a 4 and a 6 here, because there can't be 2 over there. Right, so there is a 4 or 6 here and it's not there. So that's a 4 or 6. Good grief, that took me a long time. But that feels like a breakthrough. It's certainly... So now there can't be a 4 or 6 here, can there? Because again, we know that each domino in this row is different from each other. So as there can't be a 4 or 6 here, There is a 4 or 6 here. There is not a 4 or 6 there. There is a 4 or 6 here. So there's a 4 in one of those two cells. This is crazy. And a 6 in one of these two cells. So now there is a 4 on this line. Where does it go? It cannot go in a position which is going to put double 9 beneath it. That would put double 9 beneath it. That would put double 9 beneath it. So that's 4. That's 9. That's 1. Now we've done it. Now that's 6 because it's got to have different polarity to 1. So that's 6. So C and B and that digit are now high. They are 7s, 8s and 9s, which means that C and B, so that is 7, 8. Oh, I almost pressed the wrong button then, and goodness only knows what that would have done. Suddenly the URL lit up like it wanted to be changed, which I did not mean to do. Right, so D is now low, so that's 1, 2 or 3. A is now low, so that's 1, 2 or 3. That's a low digit. It's not 1 and it can't be 4, so that's just 2 or 3. So whatever this is just 2 or 3. 6 is up here by Sudoku because 6 is down there by Sudoku. These digits, right, that digit's under pressure, isn't it? That's got to be just 6 or 7 because we know it's the same polarity as 9 and it's not 8 by Sudoku. So that's 6, 7 or 8. Now if that was 6, this would be 1. 1 would be here. Okay. And I think we might be about to grind to a halt again. That digit's high now. How does that relate to B? Is B high? B is high, so that could be B. Bobbins. Okay, so that digit is not 8, and it's not 6, because 6 would require a 1 above it. So that is 7 or 9. And that digit, we don't know. It could be B. BB. Not BB8, it could just be B. No, it can't be BB8 because BB8 it's not able to be 8. It would be quite cool if that could be BB8, but it can't be BB8. It's either BB7 or BB9 or not BB at all. Now, all right, so come on. We've just made a big breakthrough. And the breakthrough is going to mean what then? So perhaps we can do some thinking about low digits in this row, I want to say. Because I've got to save up some low digits for each of these. Every X domino has a low digit. In Whisper's polarity terms, it's got to have a 1, 2, 3 or a 4 on it and a high digit. So if I was to put 3 low digits, yeah, okay. So I've got to put 4 low digits in row 4. The digits 1, 2, 3 and 4. If I was to ever try and put 3 low digits in one of these boxes, I would break the ability to create 2 X dominoes in that box. So there must be only 2 low digits here and 2 low digits there. Now that's interesting, because if there are 2 low digits here and 2 low digits on the X's, which there must be, then those digits cannot be low digits. So these digits, which are in the purple, are from 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and they're not 6 in this instance because of the 4, 6 pair. So that is 5, 7s, 8s and 9s, and that logic must be the same here, except there's no equivalent of the 6. So these are 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Oh dear, that was totally and utterly inane and inept, wasn't it? That's not done anything. Well, I'm still going to do exactly the same logic. Must apply to the high digits in row 3. So 6, 7, 8 and 9 could be in 2 of those 3 cells only. So 2 are hypothecated for the X dominoes none can exist here. So this digit is low or 5. And the same must be true of these cells. Or 4 actually in this instance. That one can't be 4. Oh no, this is not good. Right, okay. So this is not helping me. This is a little bit terrifying now. Ah, no. Okay, I see something else. Right. None of those digits can be this domino's colour, this yellow domino's colour. And yet there must be 2 yellow dominoes in these 8 X's. So there must be one up here, and there must be one in there, and it's not the 4 or the 6. So that's yellow. That's yellow. Happy days. Right, so there's more colouring to be done, is I think what we're learning. Yes. No. Well, maybe. Well, there is and there isn't, actually. Okay, so I was thinking I could do the same with blue, but I can't quite. I can say that that can't be blue. So in terms of where the blue dominoes are within the X's, they're not in any of those cells. So the 2 blue dominoes are over here. But so I know that this up here is blue together with a 4-6 pair. This is blue together with something else, which I think is the colour that I've not yet addressed. Because we've got 4 and 6, which is this, labelled up here. I haven't given it a colour, but I know roughly where it's disposed in these X's. One's there, one's up there. This one is yellow. I know where yellow goes. This one is blue. I know there's a second blue over here. So that one is the other colour, which must be the same colour as this. Right, so this needs its own colour now. Because that's 6-4, that's yellow, that's blue. So that is another colour altogether. Now, maybe I've got to... Oh no, I've got orange available. I'm going to make that orange. So I think that is an orange domino. But the problem with that is I don't know what the digit is that accompanies orange. At least I don't think I do. Do I know what the digit is that accompanies orange? I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. I mean, I know that what... No, I don't. I don't even know what I was about to say. I know orange, the high orange high digit goes in one of those 2 cells. Right, so I know this... Right, okay, here's a small point, but a valid one. This 2x2 here, I know it contained the blue domino. I now know it contains an orange domino, because it doesn't have 4 or 6 in it, and it doesn't have a yellow in it. So that is a blue-orange pair. This is a 4-6 blue pair. This is yellow-orange. This is 4-6 yellow. Okay. So we've sort of allocated colours around. But we haven't got... I don't understand how I'm going to differentiate these things. Have I missed something here? Is there something more I can say on this line? Is it... Do I know whether this is A or not? No, because it could still be D. Surely it can still be D. I know that's A or D, which is... Oh, hang on. Hang on, I know something about that digit, I think. Is this right? This might not be right. If that's... Well, I think I do know something about this digit. I think those two digits together do not form an X domino. And that's because of the whispers line that's sitting underneath that X domino. So you can look at the options for these two cells and say, okay, well, that could be a 2, and obviously that can't be 8. That could be 3 with 7, and that would make an X domino, except, of course, they're next to each other on the whispers line, which would make... which would put us in a difficult position. 3 and 7 are only 4 apart, so they break the whisper. So these two digits are not friends from a whispers perspective. They are not friends from a whispers perspective. So what does that mean? Does that mean I can colour this digit is what I'm trying to work out. And I'm failing miserably to be able to work this out, I think. Do I know? I know C is up there. I know B is down here. B is the friend of A. So if this was B, we would be saying that is not A. So that would be D then. So this would be B, this would be D. Which would be great if I could deduce that this digit was whatever it was that I needed that one to be. But I don't think I can do that. I know that, okay, I know A or D. I know one of these is 1, 9, don't I? Can I tell which one? That would feel like progress, wouldn't it? Is there a way to tell which of yellow and blue is the 1, 9 pair? That would imply the way to do that would be to know... I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Sorry. Sorry if you've got this all bottomed out. I'm going to get rid of the green shading there. That green shading is misleading me. I think we've got to go with green shading for the 4 6s. Let's do that. So we should now have 2 of every colour in these X's, and I think we do. So that's great. What is the digit that accompanies orange? It's not this digit, is it? So we just don't know where that digit goes. Okay, well that's true. Right, so 6. I can get... Right, Sudoku. If in doubt, try Sudoku. There's a 6 here. 6 is not the same polarity as 4, so 6 doesn't go in red. 6 is in one of these 2 cells, which means 6 is in one of those 3 cells by Sudoku. Well, it's not that one by Sudoku. It's not this one by Sudoku. That is our old friend 6. I have a horrible feeling that is absolutely irrelevant to the quandary in which I am currently mired. That's done nothing, has it? That really has done absolutely diddly squat. Oh dear, 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 dear. Right, okay. So, okay. So how can I do this then? How do I do this? This is perplexing. Do I know? I think there must be a way of, what do I think about here? Do I know that either... Okay, here's a tiny point. I do know that either A or D is 1, because this is an A or a D digit, so one of those digits is 1. One of these digits is 1. And that means that one of those digits is 9, which means one of these digits is 9, which means that digit is not 9. So the orange digit is now 7 or 8. And that's going to go, oh goodness me, if it went there, that would tell me it. But I don't know, it could be on the low side of this domino, and that would be a 2 or a 3. Okay, so we can't quite do that yet. We know that, okay, we know this digit doesn't pair up with this digit, because this, although it looks like it might do, this digit is the A or the D's friend. Okay. That digit. That digit is high. It's definitely not that one. Oh, hang on. I can do it by Sudoku. That's yellow. Ah, done it. Right. Okay. Sudoku sometimes, only sometimes, is your friend. Now it is a friend, because let's do Sudoku on this digit, which I know is high polarity. Now, it's clearly not a 6, so it's not that one. It's clearly not orange, because it's in the same box as orange, which means it is either yellow or blue, but it sees the blue domino, so it is yellow. Now, does that mean I can conclude this digit is something useful? So the yellow domino is this domino. Right, so yes, this is important. This is now the D digit, I think, because this is definitely B by Sudoku. If this was A, which would put it in this domino, if this was adding up to 10, you can see it would be a 3-7 pair. That's the only way it could work. And it can't be a 3-7 pair because it would break the whisper. So that means this digit is yellow. Oh, which gives us the 1. So this is 1, 9. Beautiful. And this is a blue digit. Because we must make sure this domino is not a 10 sum. So now we know, suddenly out of absolutely nowhere, I don't know if I'm going to lose all my precious A and Bing as a result of doing this. But maybe we don't need to keep our A being now, because if I'm diligent with exploiting, that's 9 therefore. Doesn't put any pressure on this. It does give me the 9 and the 1 here though. Okay, well that does at least feel like progress, doesn't it? So now this is not 1, 9. So let's tidy up the blue dominoes therefore. Let's get rid of. Oh, look. I don't know about that. I've got a 1. Oh, 1 by polarity, of course. Yes, the polarity of this whisper line, which I almost can't see. But that must be useful. So that's going to give me the 1, 9 here. That can't be 1 anymore. So we're left with those digits being the same. I think I'm going to realise that if I get rid of the A's and the D's, aren't I? It's pretty obvious given the colouring that must be true. Let's find the right D-E. Someone yesterday was bemoaning the fact apparently I mistyped a digit 8 times, which they viewed as a record. I'm sorry I did that. I didn't mean to. Right, so this is like a green domino. Let's actually make that green in case that matters. And for our next trick, we will say, what will we say? Oh, that's not a 6. If that's a 6, that's a double 1. Oh, good grief. Right, that's going to be important, because that's going to give me a 7-8 pair in this column. So the 7, so that's blue. is what we've just learnt from that. That's out of absolutely nowhere. Right, well, let's get rid of the grey. That is now a blue digit, so that means that blue is there in one of those two cells. That's huge. I think that's huge because, yeah, okay. So if this is right, I'm just going to double check this. By Sudoku, if that's blue, and I reckon it is, blue is here, in one of those two cells. But that means that by Sudoku, blue can't be in an orange domino because the nature of orange and blue is different. So that's a blue digit, I think, which means it's not a purple digit. So that's not 5 anymore. But blue is up there, we just don't know where, so that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So what does all this mean? You may well ask. Do I know? I mean, where am I meant to look now? Somebody tell me. What do I need in this column? I've got to have... I feel like I'm missing a digit. Oh, I see. I'm missing... Oh, look. Sudoku. That's a 4. Okay. Right, so that's not purple. So purple in this column is only there. Ah, 5. Right, 5 in this column. That's the digit that was missing. That's got to be here. So that's 5. These aren't 5. Those, right, let's remove purple from those cells. So there's a purple here. So let's remove purple from those cells, which means that we can take 5s as options out of these cells. So that's no longer able to be purple. So that's purple, as the only purple digit left in box number 2. So that is a 5. And there's a 5 over here by purplification logic. There's definitely a 5 in this domino. I'm definitely going to pencil mark that. There's definitely a 5 in this domino. There's no 9. Oh, wow. Okay, Sudoku again helping us out. That's a 7-8 pair now. So this is some sort of weird 2-3 pair. Oh, okay. So that's a 2 or a 3. So it's not blue. So that must be the... I was going to say the orange. Is that wrong or is that right? I think that's right because orange and blue are the 7-8 pair. So that must be the orange version of 2-3, which means that's the blue version, which means that, you've guessed it, is the orange version. Those aren't purplified anymore. Oh, can I colour these ones in? Don't know. Don't think so. That must be a blue digit, mustn't it? Must be... I need another blue digit in this box. It's got to be here. Okay, so I think we're slowly but surely finding our feet in the puzzle. It's going to be another long solve. It's not an easy puzzle, this. It really isn't. But what it is absolutely stunningly beautiful. That's yellow. Let's make that yellow. So yellow can't be the same on its same polarity. So 9 is in one of those cells, 9 is in one of these cells, so 9 is in one of those cells, one of these cells in fact. Oh. I've got it. I've got it. It's taken me an hour, but I've got it. Right. Where is the high orange digit in that row? It's not in those cells because high orange must be on the domino that's got it on it. So that's got to be high orange. And if it's high orange, it can't be 6 because it's that digit, which means it's 7. So now we've done orange. Orange is 7, which means that's 3, that's 3, that's 2, that's 2, that's 8, that's 8, that's 2, that's 2, that's 8, that's 2, that's 8. This is a 3-7 pair. This is something. Is this... Oh, well, where's 7 go? 7's got to go there, so that's the 5. That loses its purplification and gains its orangification. 3 is in one of those cells. In fact, those digits are now known. Let's fill those in. They are 5, 6, and 8, which means these are 3 and 4. 5, 6, and 8. The 8 must go here by Sudoku. So this is 5, 6 now. 8 is being rendered a blue digit, so let's bluify it. And those squares are now 1, 4, and 6. Does that make sense? Yes, I think it does. Yeah, there was never a 4, 6 on this domino, was there? So that's okay. These squares are 1 and 3 now. It can't be 2. The 7 can't be next to a 3 on a whisper, so that's 7, 1, 3 is all fixed. 3 and 4 go in at the bottom. Let's get rid of the red and see if we can colour these in. We know that's the garish one. The 3 is an orange one. The 1 is a yellow one. The 3 down here is orange. The 4 is the garish. 4 is in the garish colours here, look, by Sudoku. And we know what those digits are in theory. They are 5, 7, and 9. That's not 9. Okay, that's grand, is it? How's this actually going to disambiguate at the end? There must be something we can do here. That's 3 and 4, which most certainly is not purple, therefore. So those digits at the bottom are 5, 6, and 7. Which looks right from a Sudoku perspective, but is slightly disconcerting from a filling the puzzle in perspective. How do I disambiguate this? Is it this funny green whisper? I don't think it can be until we know which way round these go. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I am starting to feel worried. 2 can come out of those cells. 8 can come out of these cells. So is this doing something for us? So there's a 5, 6, 7, 9 quadruple there. So this square can't be a 6. So that's down to 1 or 4. So there's a 1, 3, 4 triple in this column, which I don't think is enough. And right, we do know at least what the blue and the garish green digits are. They are 4, 6, and 2, 8. So we can at least put those in and see what happens as a result of that. Can we do any Sudoku? Oh look, we can. This 8 suddenly comes into its own again. And that gives us a 2, 4 pair at the top, which must be opposite the high digits. So this becomes a 6, 8 pair. And if that's 2 and 4, that's not 4, is it? So the 4 in that column is placed. We're still going to run into loads of dominoes in the top rows, but at least that's new stuff that we got there. How is this getting disambiguated? Sorry, I know you're all shouting at me now. I feel like I'm shouting at myself. This must be done. It must be resolved somehow. I just can't see how to do it. Okay, well let's look at blue and orange then, which we know are 3 7s and 2s 8s. So 3, 7, 2, 8. These square. Oh look, 1 can go there now. So that's a 6. That gets me my 6 and my 8, which gets me my 2 and my 4. Which gets me my 4 and my 3. Oh, that's lovely. Good grief. So that is doing it. Look, that's now 2, 8. So that's 3, 7. Knocking 7 out of here. Knocking 7 out of there. That becomes a 5 at the bottom of the grid. Which presumably, and that becomes a 7 in the corner. That becomes a 6 here. Take 6 out of these. Take 7 out of these because of the 3, 7. So that's 5, 9. That becomes 7. That 5 and 9 all get fixed. Good grief. Okay, I've still got an absolute string of dominoes here. I think this whisper's going to have to play a part. But I don't know how it's going to get resolved. We can colour now, though. We know that the We know which way round these go. We know that's no longer able to be purple. This is the purple digit. That's not a purple digit. I'll fix the colours in the rest of it, assuming I can solve the rest of it. That's not garish. This is most certainly garish. Okay. So, in some way, somehow, some magic is going to have to be performed. I think in column logic, maybe this column here, we've got 3, 4, 5 and 6. Oh, yeah, okay, it is Sudoku, of course. That is a naked single. That's a 5. It sees 3, it sees 4, it sees 6. So that's 5, which is the purple bit, which gives me the 5, the 6 here. Oh, and you can't put 5 on the whisper. So it was, I didn't need to know this. You just can't put 5 by Sudoku. This is a 5 or this is a 5. If you put 5 on the whisper, we know there's a problem. So that's the 5, that's the 5, that's the 9, that's the 9, that's the 1. Now this polarity is going to get all... Oh, this is lovely. Yeah, it's a 6, because it's got to be high, and it can't be 9, 8 and 7. That's gorgeous. Oh, good grief. Okay, that's very clever indeed. So these are all low digits. So this is a 1, 2 pair, which we can do, which gives us the 2, 8, 8, 7, 7, 3, 3, 4. All of that gets fixed. Now, hopefully we're there now. 2 and 7 up here. Yeah. That seems to work. That becomes a 6. So that becomes a 9. 9, 1, 1, whoops, 1, 3, 3, 7. And now all that's left in theory is for us to do some double clickage and correct the colours. What a brilliant puzzle that is. That was stunning. Absolutely stunning. Not at all for easy, for me at least. I'd be interested to see 5s. Yeah, I should be able to colour 8, shouldn't I? And I should be able to colour 5s. 5s with the purple digits right back at the beginning. That's got to be yellow. Have I got left anything else with a double flash? And I must check, because some people's OCD will be triggered dramatically if I've made an error, which I don't seem to have done. What a brilliant puzzle. That was quite a lot harder than the puzzles I've done by Can before, but what was consistent was that it was clearly set by a genius, because to do that and to this lovely logic with these ideas around, it is a very natural combination when you start to think about it, X's and whispers, because the polarity of the whisper fits in so nicely with the sort of inbuilt polarity of the X dominoes, but to structure it in this beautiful way with these lovely ideas around these 2x2s, it was just gorgeous. And what did I love? I loved it when I was able to work out that, well, I was very slow in working out this digit had to be, was it B or something? I can't remember. But once I got that, and the idea being that this and this couldn't be, couldn't share an X, was just stunning. And then from there, it was sort of colouring Sudoku, which I enjoyed mightily. So fabulous, another long video. I'm sorry, but what I will say is that I don't think anyone could argue that this wasn't one of the best Sudokus in existence. So these are the things I really enjoy doing. So if you guys will stay with me and are prepared to watch me battle with them, then I will always be delighted to do puzzles like this. Can, take a bow, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.